Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live. I'm your host, Luqman Shadrack. Thanks for joining us and watching us on Channel 347. Now, last week, South Africa put their best foot forward as they hosted the 82nd FIP World Congress of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences conference right here in beautiful Cape Town. We had almost 95 countries represented in this conference, and an array of topics were discussed. And we're now joined today by the COO of ICPA, Brother Ahmed Bayat, who has just returned from the conference and is going to give us feedback and also interesting news about various development. Brother Ahmed, assalamu alaikum, welcome.
Wa alaikum salam, and shukran for the invitation. It's wonderful to be here in your studio.
My absolute pleasure. Now, the conference itself must have been such an incredible experience. Can you tell us a bit about the event and some of the significance of hosting a conference like this, specifically to the pharmacy industry?
So, Luqman, this is the first time that, so FIP is the Federation of International Pharmaceutical International Federation,
right,
which is a global organization with members all across the planet.
Right.
And they have a congress once a year, and this is the first time that the congress was held in sub-Saharan Africa ever.
Beautiful.
It was once held in Egypt many years ago, and then it moves around to different parts of the world. And it was fantastic to have them in Cape Town. Initially, we thought, will we manage this? And it was hosted by several stakeholders, including the Pharmaceutical Society of South Africa, together with FIP. And it was years in planning. At least 12 months to get to where we are, where we got to. And Cape Town was the chosen destination. And no better place to have had this event.
Yeah, we have a world-class conference center.
Absolutely, and we were spoiled for the kind of information that was shared. The attendance was a staggering 3,300 paid delegates.
Wow!
Besides the others that were invited, it was staggering. And
Amazing.
It's the second highest ever attendance at an FIB Congress in its 112-year history.
Brilliant.
So well done to South Africa.
Absolutely. I mean, you must be so proud of everybody that was involved in the logistics and the arrangements as well, and having the world come through to Cape Town. More importantly, the weather played its part. We've come out of some serious cold conditions, but the weather played its part last week.
Absolutely. Just a week before,
yes,
we had terrible storms.
Correct.
And then it's flipped, and so Cape Town just showed off herself.
Amazing.
And the delegates from wherever they came, they were just taken aback. They had the most wonderful things to say about Cape Town, about the city, about the beauty, and about the people.
Stunning. And I think that's what we want to see. That's what we want to hear. It also puts us on a level that we can compete. We may be, light years behind in certain industries, certain aspects of industry. But when we put on conferences like this, events like this, it showcases our talent in South Africa, which then gets taken back by their ambassadors, to their countries as well. Brother Ahmed, it must be, fascinating to interact, especially with 95 countries. You've got, global players and peers that are part of decision making in this industry as well. If you have to look back at the last week, what kind of learnings from the Congress can you expect for us to interpret and apply in South Africa?
So the theme of the Congress was innovating for the future of healthcare.
Okay.
And so that's where we're heading to. And a number of the discussions were futuristic talks, and at some point they were quite frightening. They were quite scary of where it's going to.
Okay.
And they talk about AI, artificial intelligence, and when someone mentions artificial intelligence, the first thing that goes through one's mind is, are we going to be shedding human resources,
of course,
for AI? And what came out of that is it's not that. It's augmented intelligence which will assist us humans in doing what we do and do it better, because AI can do things for us that we cannot compute at the speed that the machine learning can do.
Amazing.
So what's coming through is, the types of therapies and treatments, and we're talking about precision medicine, precision treatments based on someone's genotype. So you can actually do a genotype and get a map of one's genotype.
That's amazing.
And you can see from that map which medicines will work best for this person, which ones will not work.
Right.
So it's no trial and error.
Right. And time, is of the essence in most instances as well.
Correct. And by doing that, we actually target therapy. You get better outcomes and reduce side effects.
Brilliant.
That's where it's heading.
Brilliant. This sounds fascinating. It sounds innovative. It sounds like it's definitely where the world is going. Are we ready for this in South Africa?
It's a big question, and I think we have parts of it where we are ready. We do have robotics and so on, and so we are moving in that direction. But if you see where some of the countries in the world are, we are pretty far behind, right? And the question that one raises is that how do we bridge that gap? Because it's a huge gap. So the experts are saying, you're lucky you're in Africa. And he says, how are we lucky for that? He says, because Africa has a history of leapfrogging. You take the learnings from everybody else, leave the mistakes, and leapfrog into the future.
Very good point. Very good point. I like that. And it also makes us proud to own this space of how we progress. This also sounds like it can be quite a bit of income involved in order for the progression to happen. Would this then mean that various stakeholders around the world would get involved?
I think it is. The world is now a global village.
Yeah.
And what this conference has done is that it's connected us, South Africans, with the world.
Nice.
We have contacts in all of these countries that we interacted with. We had plenary sessions with pharmacists from Netherlands and Turkey, from Egypt and another country. And so they share their experiences, and so we learn from them.
Brilliant.
And so this was a fantastic networking opportunity.
Stunning. There's also an exciting project that came out of the conference and the Congress with regards to medication that would now be dispersed, through various parts of the world. Talk to us about that.
Okay, so the FIP has, as part of their development goals, one of them is a humanitarian program.
Okay.
And the humanitarian program aims to get medicines and medical supplies to areas of crisis, whether they are man-made or natural disasters, wars, etc.
Right.
And it's called, the initiative is called Medicines 2 Initiative. And it was born out of the first one happened when the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine.
Right.
And there was a call from Ukraine for medicines at the time. Okay. And a lot of the countries around started to send medication to Ukraine, only to find it got to the Polish border and it couldn't go over for regulatory reasons and all of those things. So all of that medicine just piled up at the border, and they had to destroy them. Sure. And that's such a waste.
Yes.
So there's an organization called Pharmacists Without Borders, based in the UK. It's a non-profit organization. And they said, why are we sending medicines? Because that's not what we should be doing.
Yes.
Right. Let's collect money and send the money over to Ukraine, and they can source the medicines in country.
Nice.
So that was the start. Then we were contacted in South Africa, and they says, you know what, there's crisis all over the world. Let's start with Africa.
Okay.
Let's do medicines to Africa.
Brilliant.
And that was the beginning of the African initiative. And so we signed the first MOU. The MOU was signed to initiate the first phase of this program in FIP Congress in Brisbane last year, 2023. And it took us 12 months to get to where we are today, where last week we signed the second phase of medicines to Africa.
Okay.
And what that means is that we have to first of all find a charity partner, and we have stakeholders that we have engaged and got them together. And so the various stakeholders from academia, from the military, from various sectors in pharmacy come together and say, this is what we're going to do. We all agree, but we have to find a charity partner that is credible, and that's authentic.
Okay.
And that will be able to manage the fund and procure the medication in the country where it's needed.
Right.
And what better than gift of the givers?
Course. Dr. Imtiaz.
Imtiaz Suleiman, right? It was a no-brainer.
Of course.
We approached him and Dr. Kathrada, Naeem Kathrada. We had a meeting with them, and it was just, let's do it.
As part of the project as well, would there be medication sent to Gaza?
So that's the next phase.
Okay.
Right. So now we've got medicine to Africa. We've got that wrapped up, and we will start that soon.
Okay.
And so I'll tell the listeners, just keep your viewers to keep an eye out for this initiative. It will be at all our pharmacies, how to actually donate.
Oh, wonderful.
It's going to be public donations. It's public funding. It goes into an account that will be managed by Gift of the Givers.
Brilliant.
Nobody else touches the money.
Brilliant,
right.
Brilliant.
So,
you know, I think the partnership between Gift of the Givers and yourselves and the rest of the world is a no-brainer, like you say as well. But we have run out of time, unfortunately. In closing, your message to our viewers with regards to how they could assist, but more importantly, the great work that you do.
I'd like to get a word in on Gaza.
Okay.
All right. So I think with this, we also have started Medicines to Gaza together with the Jordanian Pharmaceutical Society, and they are supported by South Africa, by Egypt, the pharmacy societies in these countries, Lebanon, Malaysia,
Brilliant.
And I think there's one or two other countries, I don't remember all of them now.
Brilliant.
They have all signed supporting Medicines to Gaza,
Nice.
the same initiative. They will have their own charity partner out there.
Because right now we're facing a polio concern, and we're trying to alleviate that as well. Uncle Ahmed, Jazakallah so much for coming into studio. It's always a pleasure meeting people like yourselves that work on the ground, make a difference, and so that not just us in South Africa can benefit from it, but the rest of the world as well. We'll definitely invite you in for another interview to expand on other projects and campaigns that that's currently on the go. But keep us in your du'as, because we'll definitely keep you guys in our du'as as well.
Thank you so much.
Inshallah.
It was wonderful to be here, and thank you very much.
Jazakallah so much. That's Uncle Ahmed Bayat, who represents the Pharmacy Association that just finished a wonderful conference. 95 countries came to South Africa to hold this conference. Stay tuned. We're going to continue with Hilaal live after the break.